Hi, I'm Dan Potter. I moved to Providence in 1986 to attend Brown University. I love this city. When I first moved here, downtown was kind of almost like a roller derby / bust-up derby. It was before they opened the rivers. People probably remember it was very hazardous to walk down. I am indebted to Buddy Cianci because he did renovate that and he had a vision for the city, and I hope our current mayor and representatives can continue that view, maybe with a little firmer hand on the wallet. Now, about the stadium, I like sports. I like the idea of a AAA stadium. And I think that people who like baseball should have that opportunity. But I'm on the opponent's side here tonight because I don't think that it's very well thought out in terms of their placement. The Knowledge District is a central part of the city. And if you go to other stadiums in other cities, like the Fenway District, or even around McCoy, and you walk around, they're dead. They're not an economic anchor. They're dusty, sandy, salty places. When there's no people there, they're actually fairly dangerous because they're desolate. I think, no, there are. I lived in Back Bay, and everybody who lived in Back Bay in Boston, and I lived a fair distance away from the Fenway, they hated the games because people didn't want to pay. They did not want to pay the $35 fees to park. They would go into all the neighborhoods. The only people who are going to benefit from this, somebody said it earlier, it's the parking lot people. They love it, okay, because they can jack up the rates for those things. I also lived on the Fenway itself. I had a window, bedroom window, that looked out of the Fenway Stadium. And the crowds after the games, they're not ruly. If there's alleys, they urinate in them. I mean, you gotta understand, you have thousands of people spilling out into an urban environment, making their way to their vehicles. They are not invested in the neighborhood. They're just there to spectate and then leave. It's not this happy vision that I think it's being played out as. So I'm against the citing of it. The economics of it, I don't think it's going to be an anchor for the local businesses. I think you can get some t-shirt shops and things like that, but it's not going to make, New Rivers is not going to get a big bump in business, all right? The Knowledge District, I have a rent office down at Beta Spring, and already it's a problem. I go down there, and I teach at Brown, but I have an office there so that I can do my consulting practice away from Brown. I need that. But there's no parking already. Okay, I go down there, I don't stay a long time. I have to spend about $15 to park in Providence, all right? That's ridiculous. I mean, they're talking about building this Knowledge District. What they should be doing is actually making a lot of cheap parking now. If they want to get people to use it, you have to have room for them. And the idea that they're gonna inject the stadium with 75 games plus another 10 or 20 other activities, on those nights and on those days, the parking is gonna go up. It'll be like Boston prices. It'll be like $35 to park. It will kill the Knowledge District. No one will want to relocate their company to a place where 85 days a year, their employees have to pay more than $30 to park. So I think you really have to follow the money here. If you walk around downtown, most of the skyscrapers are pretty much empty. The big political players in Providence, they own the parking lots. So you're going to see a lot of internal people in Providence, behind the scenes, who want this deal because you can make money off parking, okay? And it shouldn't be that way. We should have $5 a day parking in Providence, subsidized by the city. That would fundamentally change the Knowledge District. People would move here. There's so much pressure in Boston, they want to come down, but there's no place to put your car. And it's kind of the first step to getting the Knowledge District to work. So I hear a lot of people talking about the deal, and they say, well, is it sweet enough? All right? And I think the answer is, it's not a question, is the deal sweet enough? It's just a really bad place for it. Even if they paid for it 100%, we don't want that huge castle in the middle of Providence. It's just the wrong place for it. If they want to put it somewhere else, or they want to renovate Pawtucket, great, that's fine, but it's the wrong thing. So I had a question for the people up here. And what do you need to hear from your constituents so that you solidly vote against this? I, balanced politics in Rhode Island. It's like you talk to the representative and they nod and they yes, and oh, that's very interesting, but they don't commit. Now, there's somebody in the room who did commit. It's Seth Garrity. He stood up, he wrote a letter, and he said no. And I want to provide feedback to my representatives so that they'll do something similar. And I don't want them to do it just because they know me, but that it's clear that all their constituents want them to oppose it. And so it gets out in the open. So what do we have to do? Petition? No, it's a serious question.
It's not time yet.
It's not time yet. Now, Sam, you're being political. I mean, look, we have a whole room of people who don't want it.
Well, vote them out. I want to look. First of all, your 5 minutes is up. We're here to listen.
Okay, next person.
But I think that's why we're here is to hear that, to get all of that information so that we
What are you
can.
gonna do with that?
Are you just going to follow leadership or are you going to vote for your constituency?
First of all, I want to appreciate that there are a lot of people in this room, and I do want to make sure that we get enough time to hear from all the people on the list. This is a way for us to be able to report back to the people in the State House and in the City Council that we talked with our constituents and heard from all of you, and that we can share your thoughts with them. The reality is, particularly for the three of us, we don't even know that we actually ever will vote on anything because there may not be anything ever to vote on in the State House. So, but we want to make sure that we have as much of your input so that we can share that with our colleagues.